You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Tuesday, 10th day of February, 2026. Thanks for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. Now, the first broadcast is our live training room. So that one's reserved for members only and those who are taking their 1-week free trial. If you have not yet taken your 1-week free trial, when Michael joins us in about an hour, he'll walk you through step by step how to take the trial. It'll take you about 3 minutes to get signed up. We'll get you indicators indicating today. Your trial will officially start tomorrow and will run all the way through next Tuesday afternoon. You get 5 consecutive trading days. The weekend doesn't count against you. And there's no credit card required. We want you focused on what's being taught so that at the end of the trial, you can make a well-informed, intelligent decision as to whether or not trading is right for you. So, stick around. 1 p.m. Eastern, that's when Michael will join us for a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning. And also do a little live trading as time and the markets permit. Top of the hour. Now, when the live training room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we take a 30-minute break and come back for this broadcast, the noon broadcast, which, unlike the morning broadcast, this one is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. There's 2 different ways to join this afternoon broadcast live. The best way, you only have to do it once. Go to mytradingiq.com. Scroll down the page to where it says noon broadcast. Click the link, fill out the 30-second registration form, and you're done. What will happen going forward is every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before the broadcast starts. In the email, there will be a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it automatically logs you into our platform. The benefit there is you'll have access to the question box, so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Now, there will be days when you're out of the office, away from the desktop, but you still want to join live. And there'll be days when you're busy, so you can't join live, but you want to get caught up later. You can do both of those via our YouTube channel, which is easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. That's the Christian Financial Radio Network since 2005. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, as we're doing right now, simulcasting, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,900 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. And if you're new to our neck of the woods, it is a great way to get to know who we really are. Thanks to the power of YouTube, you can scroll back 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. Obviously, you're not going to watch them all, nor do you need to, but it's a great resource to have at your fingertips because it allows you to see how we've evolved over all these years, day by day by day. youtube.com/CFRN. On the left side of the screen is the schedule for each afternoon broadcast. As I already mentioned, Michael will join us at the top of the hour for the recap of what happened in the live training room this morning and do a little live trading. For now, we'll start where we do each and every day with our daily devotional. We are beginning a brand new topic today. It's a 7-day devotional, so it'll carry over into next week. The title is, You Are More Than You've Been Told. It's all about unlocking a fresh way to live through the rhythms of Jesus. Today's scripture, Matthew 11, verses 28 and 29, and I'm sharing it from the NIV translation. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. Again, that was Matthew 11, 28 and 29. So on the first day of this new topic, let's talk about a fresh way to live. Have you ever felt disconnected from yourself or from God? Have you ever lost a sense of who you really are? The direction for your life? Maybe you felt weighed down. If so, you're not crazy and you're not alone. That was me. I lost who I was. I was in a spiral of self-defeat. I was overwhelmed and over it. I felt disconnected from myself, from God, and any sense of inner peace. So I set out to answer this question. How can we really know who we really are and live like it every single day? When life does not turn out the way that we planned, when the words and opinions of other people have grown increasingly loud, when the wounds from our past have taught us the wrong narrative about ourselves, when our worth becomes found in what we do, what we provide, or what we produce. Is there a way to know who we really are? Yes, there is. And that's what we'll unpack over the next 7 days. There is a new way to live. A personable, doable, refreshing lifestyle that might not look like everyone else's, but that truly enables you to live as you've been created to live. While I was in that weary season, weighed down and worn out, I started to study the lifestyle of Jesus, to see how he was able to live lightly and peacefully despite the pressures of culture and the expectations of ever-changing opinions of others. It wasn't easy, but I was tired of half living. Through learning the unforced rhythms of Jesus and practicing his habits, I grew closer to him. And the closer I got to him, the closer I felt to the core of who I really was. You might feel stuck, but you're not stuck. You will discover who you really are when you spend real time with the one who knows you the best. This must become more than an inspirational concept for us. If we are to truly find the confidence and clarity we are searching for, this must become practical. I love when our heads are in, our hopes are high, and hands are raised. But I'm also a hands-on kind of person. I want to know who I am, but I also must know how. That is what we will unlock, a practical way to reconnect with yourself and with God. Tangible tools to live lighter and freer. First, let's identify some of the lies that have been holding us back and the burdens we've been carrying. Take a deep breath, take some time, and ask yourself these questions. Who are you listening to? Whose opinions do you care the most about? What authority do they have to define you? What battles are you fighting? Where are you putting your time and energy? Are you fighting the battles God has called you to fight? Or is the enemy perhaps distracting you with lesser battles? What names are you answering to? Perhaps names like unworthy, unwanted, or unloved? Or names like loved, wanted, and chosen? What you think about yourself determines how you live. So what story are you living out? These false stories we have believed about ourselves trap us in the wrong patterns of living. What is a story that has shaped how you see yourself? When we identify the lies in our lives, we are better equipped to heal from them and move past them. Then we will unlock God's truths. No one has the power to define you but the one who created you. God's voice must be the loudest voice in our lives. God's lens must be the lens that we see ourselves through. This is what we'll unpack over the next few days. It's time to reconnect with God. It's time to take back your time, reclaim your mind, and refresh your life. Through His words, and his habits. Jesus is going to show us how. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, I want to reconnect with you, with who I really am. I want to crush the lies that have held me back for too long. I want to know how you see me and see my life. I want to live the life you've created me to live. Today I declare that I am ready to start a new journey with you. And I invite each and every one of you tuning in to take that journey with me. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, Amen. Amen, and happy Tuesday. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. We'll start here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. And we'll take a peek at some of the news, and then we'll get to the charts and see what's happening. Currently the Dow is up 303 points. NASDAQ is up 18. S&P 500 up 11. The Russell 2000 up 8. In the commodity basket, crude oil down 30, make that 43 cents. Trading 63.93 last. Gold down $33.70. Trading 5,045.70 last. Silver down $1.92. Trading 80.32 last. And that's a drop of over 2.25%. Almost 2.5%. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei gained 1,286 points. It's over 2.25%. Shanghai rose 5. The Hang Seng gained 155. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE down 32. The DAX down 27. The CAC up 4. So we had a green day in Asia. It was a mixed day for the UK. And at the moment, it is a green Radio Tuesday here in the US of A. Now the Dow is pretty solidly in the green. And NASDAQ in the green, but only by 26 points. S&P green by 12 points, and the Russell by 8. So those are kind of some thin margins. So we'll see how that unfolds over the course of this broadcast. Hang on one second. Got a hiccup in my giddy up. Well, let's try that again. Okay, we're almost there, I guess. All right, here we go. Had everything all set up and ready to go, and then life happened. All right, back to where we were. A Hong Kong court has sentenced 78-year-old media mogul Jimmy Lai to 20 years in prison. The sentence is the longest to date under Hong Kong's 5-year-old national security law that critics say effectively criminalizes political dissent. Now, wow, when you think about all the people, all of the political dissenters protesting in the streets here in America, guess you can't do that in Hong Kong. Guess you can't do it in Iran either, huh? And it seems wrong that it's happening here, but, well, our founding fathers, I guess they foresaw some issues like freedom of speech, freedom of the press. Now, this gentleman who got a 20-year sentence, he's 78, founded Apple Daily, a since-shuttered pro-democracy newspaper that reached more than 3.8 million registered web users, about half of Hong Kong's population. I was in Hong Kong in the late 70s, early 80s. Incredible city. Now, this is when it was still under British rule, but the lease expired and China took it back. At its height, Jimmy Lai had a reported net worth of $1.2 billion. In 2020, however, local authorities arrested him under a then new national security law following anti-government protests the year before. Lai was accused of conspiring with foreign governments and printing and distributing seditious articles. He has spent more than 5 years in jail, including stretches in solitary confinement. President Trump yesterday said he would speak to Chinese President Xi to encourage leniency for Lai, who has multiple chronic conditions. Trump is planning to meet with Xi in April, when they will also discuss trade issues, the war in Ukraine, and the hot button topic, Taiwan. Alphabet, Google's parent company, is planning to sell a rare 100-year bond as part of a broader push into global debt markets to fund its expanding investments in artificial intelligence, marking the first such offering from a tech firm since Motorola in 1997. The Google parent raised $20 billion in U.S. bonds and for the first time will sell debt in the UK and Switzerland, as it is expected to spend up to $185 billion this year on data centers and AI infrastructure. Bonds are loans that governments, corporations, or institutions issue to raise money without drawing from their cash reserves. Investors buy bonds in exchange for regular interest payments. Century-long corporate bonds are unusual due to acquisition risk and shifting business models. I mean, think about it. Where was the world 100 years ago today? And the even bigger question is, where will the world be 100 years from today? And some are asking, will it even be? Alphabet's sale reflects a broader trend of tech giants, including Oracle, turning to bond markets to fund AI infrastructure. Collectively, Alphabet, Amazon, Meta, and Microsoft forecast roughly $650 billion in AI spending in 2026. Playing a brain training video game could protect against dementia for up to 20 years, according to a long-term study published yesterday. Researchers say the findings, based on tracking nearly 3,000 individuals age 65 and older, offer the strongest evidence yet that cognitive training can have lasting benefits on the brain. Participants who completed up to 23 hours of speed training over 3 years had a 25% lower risk of developing Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia over a 20-year follow-up period, compared to a control group. The training required participants to quickly identify and respond to objects on a screen, an activity likened to noticing peripheral objects while driving. By contrast, other subsets of participants who learned memorization strategies or practiced pattern-based problem solving saw no reduction in dementia risk. Researchers say the speed training game's outsized benefits may stem from its reliance on implicit learning and from its gradual increase in difficulty as participants improved. Wow, this could be the beginning of something big. Turning to Wall Street. The build-out of artificial intelligence data centers, along with business-friendly provisions in President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill, are combining to make 2025 a banner tax year for big tech. Tax bills have dropped for 3 companies at the center of the ongoing AI build-out, thanks to new business world deductions enacted last year by Republicans for things like depreciation and research and development cost. Now, this isn't just big tech. This isn't just business. This is going to directly affect the consumers. And consumers are, as they file their taxes this year, are going to see typically a much more substantial refund than they've seen in past years. It's all part of the master plan that sadly Jerome Powell could not see last year, when instead of lowering interest rates at the appropriate time, he was cautious. We'll see how it all shakes out. U.S. stocks mostly rose today, with the Dow building on its latest record close, that was Friday, as a slowdown in retail sales figures let out a flood of crucial data, highlighted by the looming release of the monthly jobs report. December's retail sales data led the way into a deluge of economic data to come this week, with a downtrodden read on the economy, as retail spending on the month remained virtually unchanged from the month prior. The flatlining sales data signals a slowdown in spending, though the end of the holiday season from November's month-on-month growth of 0.6% fell well below economists' expectations. The weak number appeared to lead to an increase in bets on interest rate cuts from the Federal Reserve, while most traders still expect the Fed to hold steady next month and again in April. Those majorities are shrinking. Meanwhile, over 75% of traders now expect rates to be lower by June when we get a new Fed that isn't afraid to lower the rates. Won't that be nice? U.S. retail sales were unexpectedly unchanged in December, putting consumer spending and the overall economy on a slower growth path heading into the new year. The flat reading in retail sales last month followed an unrevised 0.6% increase in November, according to the Commerce Department's Census Bureau. Those numbers came out this morning. Economists polled by Reuters had forecast retail sales, which are mostly goods and are not adjusted for inflation, would rise by 0.4%. But we got a 0.6%. Census Bureau is still catching up on data releases after delays caused by last year's government shutdown. And it looks like we got another shutdown staring us in the face. An increasing number of companies are using AI agents across their organizations, whether that's for summarizing emails or automating certain tasks. But the outgrowth of agents is also creating vulnerabilities that cybercriminals could use to attack businesses. Weaknesses include the amount of data agents can access within an organization, the types of data they can use, and attackers manipulating AI bots and agents to launch a next-level phishing attack. According to Microsoft's CyberPulse security report, more than 80% of Fortune 500 companies are now deploying AI agents built using low-code or no-code tools. But just 47% of businesses have some kind of security controls in place to manage generative AI platforms. 29% of employees have also used unsanctioned agents for their work, according to a survey of 1,700 security professionals commissioned by Microsoft. That opens businesses up to major risks. Agents with access to too much data pose a unique threat, in that they risk workers viewing information they shouldn't be able to see or otherwise misusing it. President Trump yesterday threatened to bar the new $4.6 billion bridge connecting Detroit and Windsor, Ontario from opening. This is his latest in his latest salvo against Canada over trade issues. Trump cited Canada's ownership of the Gordie Howe International Bridge, its refusal to stock some U.S. alcoholic beverages on Canadian store shelves, Canada's tariffs on dairy products, and its trade talks with China. President Trump said, "I will not allow this bridge to open until the United States is fully compensated for everything we have given them, and also, importantly, Canada treats the United States with the fairness and respect that we deserve." Trump published this today on social media. "We will start negotiations immediately. With all that we have given them, we should own perhaps at least 1/2 of the asset." In 2012, Michigan's then governor, Rick Snyder, accepted a Canadian government offer to fund most of the new Gordie Howe Bridge's costs. Why? And took the unusual step of using executive authority to bypass the legislature. Construction began in 2018, and the bridge is finally nearing completion, which is better than Gavin Newsom's light rail, which they're finally laying tracks to lay the tracks. Billions upon billions of dollars have been spent, and not 1 inch of track has been laid. It's a hard knock life, man. Microsoft is exploring using superconducting power lines in its data centers, which could potentially accelerate its massive U.S. build-out of the server warehouses by making them more energy efficient. Big Tech's effort to swiftly build and electrify giant data centers across the U.S. to expand technologies like artificial intelligence has been slowed by the country's aging power system and constrained electricity supplies. Microsoft said recent tests of high-temperature superconductor cables have shown that the power lines can deliver the same amount of electricity as traditional cables while taking up less space. The technology helps us scale power density without expanding our physical footprint. It can also help us reduce the size of power transmission infrastructure and lower community impact. High-temperature semiconductor cables use a ceramic-like material that transports electricity more efficiently than conventional copper and aluminum products, which are used widely in power infrastructure. Deploying the cables, which are not currently used in data centers, could shorten the time it takes to power the large server warehouses. A federal judge ruled against California's prohibition on federal law enforcement wearing masks, a mandate aimed at ICE agents. U.S. District Judge Christina Snyder, appointed by President Bill Clinton, ruled the state law discriminates against federal law enforcement, as it allowed state police to wear masks to conceal their identities while preventing federal law enforcement from doing the same. However, she rejected the Trump administration's argument that the ICE agents need to wear masks to be protected from doxing in a 30-page opinion Monday. The act treats federal law enforcement officers differently than similarly situated state law enforcement officers. California Governor Gavin Newsom signed the No Secret Police Act in September 2025, only referencing federal, city, and county law enforcement, but not including state law enforcement. I guess that's a win for the right. Who knows anymore? And that's enough, don't you think? I think so. All right, let's take a look at Logic 247. That is our 24/7 around-the-clock E-mini alert service. Not just E-minis, but also crude, gold, and silver. We're currently in week 393. Over the last 393 weeks, we've issued over 21,400 individual handcrafted alerts. And what we've averaged on a weekly basis is 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on simple market structure and a simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Valerie did the recap this morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. She'll update it this afternoon, early evening, as she does each and every day. Since the markets opened Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we issued a total of 20 alerts. At the time she did the recap, we were still waiting on the outcome of 12. That gave us 8 actionable alerts, of which, so far, nothing's been stopped out, but it's still early Tuesday. Now, the purpose of the Logic Alerts is to help you learn how to read the chart. It helps you know where to anticipate resistance, where to anticipate support, and in doing so, it unveils the windows of opportunity between those two important points And that's where you'll find your best high probability, low risk trade opportunities. Now, everybody can read, right? Well, actually, a lot of our high school students are struggling to read these days, but that's a story for another day. But assuming if you got logged in, you know how to read. But when you look at a chart, there's no words. No sentences, paragraphs, punctuation. It's a non-verbal language. And if you're going to learn how to trade, you need to be able to read that chart. That's the purpose of the logic alerts. If you never trade a single logic alert, you can still and should still use them to help you learn how to read the chart. Every logic alert has an entry price, either long or short, then an initial target designed to help you get your goal for the day, in most cases additional targets, and then a final trade to target. Logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock. Futures trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. Our day session is their night session, and vice versa. I think last week we ended up with I think it was like 9% stopped out. I know at one point it was 12, and then I think by the end of the week it dropped to 9. But anyway, what we've averaged over the last 393 weeks is 20% or less on a weekly basis. Now, 393 weeks is a long time, over 7 years, but quite a few years before Logic 247, we had our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts, and they're different. They're different in a whole lot of ways, but for the purpose of this discussion, I'll simply say they don't come out around the clock. They are typically published 5 minutes before the Globex open. We're in the Tuesday session right now, but the Tuesday session did not begin this morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. It began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. Now today the Tuesday session will end at 5 p.m. Eastern. Markets will go quiet for an hour, and then tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, that will be the beginning of the Wednesday session. So what that means is all of our traders and trial members had all of these targets 5 minutes before the market opened last night. The S&P, the Dow, the Russell, crude oil, the NQ, gold, and silver. So let's go take a look at the charts and see exactly where we are. We'll start with the S&P 500, Emini futures, the bellwether as it's called. Now, yesterday was an interesting day. Price came down, touched red and falling. When red and falling gets directly below price, and the step line gets directly below price, either one of those can become potential support. So really we had support times 3 down here. The 38% fib extension, red and falling, and the step line. Then we had potential resistance at the 50% fib extension. Now we traveled up to this close right here, which was February 3rd. The close was 69.3875, and yesterday's high was 7,000 and a half. Okay, so we took it out by just a little bit. Okay, but we the close is what's important, and we closed well off the low of the session, well off the high of the session, and we had a green body on that candle. We opened last night with a gap higher, open slightly, looks like. And then we had a red candle that brought us down to the 50% fib extension, which we would expect to be good support until proven otherwise. We've now taken out yesterday's high. Yesterday's high was 7,000 half, and today we've hit 7,006 half. Our next major resistance, I pointed this out yesterday, is right where we're at, the top of this red body. The next major resistance, now you see we got a little bit of wick on top of this daily candle. So we got, once we overcome that, then the next major resistance would be the 62% fib extension at 70.20. And then the high of this day at 70.27. And then the high of this day, 70.29. And then right here is the all-time historic intraday high, 70.43. But notice the day we put in that new all-time historic high, we closed well off the high of the session. And as we mentioned, going into the new all-time historic high, that when we put in a new all-time historic high, we almost always get a sell-off. But the sell-off wasn't that bad. In fact, we talked about this on Thursday, the potential for there to be in the live training room in the morning, the potential for a bullish engulfing candle. And that's what we got on Friday. Friday's low is lower than Thursday's low and higher than Thursday's high. So here's Friday, here's Monday, and here's today, Tuesday, where we're trying to work our way up to that next major resistance. We got to overcome today's high, because today's high, again, the close on this day was 69.3875. Oh wait, no, that's not what I want. I want the open. 7,004.25. Today's highs 7,006.5. So you see what we got going on right here? Top of this body, the top of this body, and the top of this body. We got to break free of that. And then we have pretty clear run up to the 62. And if we get through the 62, and above that, the all-time historic high. Hang on one second. Okay, so all alerts, the Logic 247 alerts and the Concierge Trade alerts are all done on the 30-minute chart. Nothing magic about 30 minutes. It's just the time frame I chose years ago. They say if it's not broke, stick with it. So I have. Now, notice yesterday on this run up in the afternoon, or actually it started right at the open, Wall Street open. See how the black step line and blue and climbing are running parallel? And then right here, the black step line crossed from the left side to the right side of blue and climbing. When that happens, what do we expect? A retracement back to the BBC. And what do we get? A retracement back to the BBC. So we consolidated, And then we had an attempt to move higher, but we failed to take out that high right there on that move. That set us back to the BBC, and we got another leg. We hit the long target. We got a retracement. Now, price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green. It's called the BBC. Just stands for bull bear cross. When price crosses above the green line, we're bullish and expect higher prices. When price crosses below the green line, we're bearish and expect lower prices. Pretty simple. So we hit the long target, spiked it a little bit, took out these highs from yesterday, came back to the BBC, found support, and now we're making another run at that long target. The current high is 98.75, and as you can see, the long target is at 7,001. Now the CTAs, don't confuse the logic 247 alerts and the CTAs. That list I showed you where everybody had these targets 5 minutes ahead of the open, okay? And I said you'll see them drawn on the charts. These are they. The vertical line separates today, Tuesday, from Monday. Here's the Sunday night gap higher open, and that gap did close. The horizontal lines are the weekly trading zones. We have wide zones this week, and we've not hit the zone overhead or the zone below so far. Now we still have 2 more zones to the upside and 4 more zones to the downside. Right now, price looks like it wants to go higher, but it's tried. We had a high, a higher high, a higher high, but they all three got slapped back down. So if we test that area again, okay, be very careful right here at 7,005. If we get above 7,005, then it should be a pretty quick run up to the zone, 7017/7018. Now, the zones are published every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They don't change in any way whatsoever. We've published the zones for our members every Monday for over 16 years. December 14th of last year was our 16-year anniversary for the weekly trading zones. When price rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance till proven otherwise. When price drops to a zone, we expect support till proven otherwise. Now the Dow was after putting in a new all-time historic high on Friday, which is back over here. Yesterday was pretty flat, and then last night was really flat. But finally this morning at 9:30, when the Wall Street market opened, we got a runner, and it took us up to a new all-time historic high. We got a pullback to blue and climbing. We got another leg, but that black step line is getting ready to cross, or is crossing. It's like it has crossed. Blue and climbing, so you should look for a retracement back to the BBC. Now the pullback holds more often than not, so if this pullback holds, you'll get another leg to the upside. If the pullback doesn't hold, right here you've got a bullish cross. That's when the blue line gets above the green line. When you have a bullish cross that leads to an extended move, the first time price revisits that area will almost always be good support. So keep that in mind should price drop back into this area. And then below that, you've got potential support here, 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 and here. It's just a matter of looking at the chart and looking left. It's not magic. The Russell, this was where we opened last night. We consolidated for many hours. These are 30-minute candles. consolidated for many hours, and then this was London Open, and then right here at the 4 a.m. Eastern candle, we hit the weekly trading zone, or I'm sorry, the CTA long target, which is based off this right here where blue turned to red. Resistance sends a market looking for support. Support sends a market looking for resistance. So right now the Russell is at 2709/2710. The next zone above is 2752/2753. And then there's still one more zone quite a ways up above that. And today's only Tuesday. On the NQ, here's where we opened last night. Price dropped to the BBC, consolidated, got a leg and a retracement, a leg and a retracement, and a leg. And we hit that long target and the zone pretty much to the tick. What was the high of this candle? 25,447. The zone is 446/447. So we hit the zone, came back to the BBC, the pullback held, and now we're trying to make another run at it. Crude, here's where we opened last night. Dropped to the BBC, consolidated, got a little leg up here. Took us all right to this area where blue turned to red. And look at all those highs. Price tries to rally and gets slapped down. Slap down, slap down, slap down. We just had a bearish cross. That's where the red line gets below the green line. Now we're sitting on top of potential support. When the black step line gets directly below price, that becomes potential support. If we get through that area, then we got potential support right here. Call it 63.90. And then here, 63.80. And then here's the zone at 63.70. And that looks like where the market wants to head. Gold, this was the open last night on gold. And in the first 30-minute candle, again, these targets were out 5 minutes ahead of the open. The first 30-minute candle took us all the way down to the short target. We opened here, ran up, hit red and falling, resistance, and that dropped us to and through the short target, right to these lows right here. Then we bounced back up and closed just above the short target. Support always sends a market to resistance, which sends it back to support, back to resistance, back to support, back to resistance. Here we got support at blue and climbing, and that took us just shy of the target. 5085.3. The weekly zone is 87/88. And the high of the session so far, 5102.7. But right now, price has gotten back below the BBC. It bounced off the short target. We're below the BBC. The black step lines are directly below price, along with red and falling. That could be potential support, could turn the market back up. Okay. And silver's been mostly flat throughout the session. So Michael is here just in time. Are you ready? Michael, are you ready?
Oops, yeah, my mic was up. Sorry.
Oh.
I am ready. Bring it over here. And there we go.
All right, that looks good.
All right. Excellent. Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, the 10th day of February, 2026. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to take a free trial, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button right here. There is no credit card required for this trial. You just click on the purple button and it will bring you to, well, this page. Close those. That's that one and that one. Bring you to this page where all that we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. Down here at the bottom gives you trading view, login ID. Right? Once we have that, we'll be able to enable the indicators, get them indicating on your charts. So you have everything running on your charts when you get into the room with us in the morning. Okay, that is the best way to take the free trial. Have everything going so you can follow along on your charts. All right, spreadsheet. We didn't have a very good day today. We had, well, a very mediocre day. Halfway through, we were only up 150 bucks. And we're up 100. I think even 100, more than 100 after. No, we were up $100 a contract after 2 minutes. And then another 58 minutes. And we're only up another 50 bucks. But I'll get into that in just a moment. For now, if you have not taken, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you can read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. So I read all these in this order. Just noticed this headset is about to die. On the NQ, we're up 55 ticks today. On the Russell, we're down 33. On the YM, we're up 18. And on the S, we're up 32. So put us plus 600, our lowest day of the month so far. Plus $600 a contract on the morning session today. It took 2 minutes and one trade to get to the goal for the day. At that point, $100 with one contract, or 1,000 with 10. We did end up getting 6 times that, but still we just get 12 times that by the end of the session. Today, in the number of trades, yesterday were 96% of our trades are break even or better. Today, 79% of our trades are break even or better. It's the difference a day makes. 39 trades with 8 stop outs this morning. Now, that puts us on the month at $6,422 over 7 business days, averaging $917 per day. On the year, $29,447.50 over 25 business days, averaging $1,177 per contract per 2-hour business day. Following the 24/20 blueprint, this number went up a little bit today because it was such a quick time to get the goal, but it was only the minimum that it takes to get the goal. So it was quick, but it didn't bring it up that much. The reduction in time was the big thing. We're averaging $1,996 per hour so far this year. And if you quit trading when you got the goal for the day, you would only had to work 2.4 hours so far. You'd be up $4,792 trading 2 contracts right now. Okay. Trading 2 contracts right now. And that's all that stuff. All right. So now we are only 4 minutes in. That's good. Just looking at the amount of time we have for trading. Yesterday we had 19 minutes to trade. And I think we did okay yesterday, didn't we? Or we end up with this today. $2,150 or 215 with one contract. So it was a pretty good day. Let me just do this. 43 here. This is 210. Oops. Let me just copy these down. And changes to 43. Okay. The trades. The Russell today, we ended up with the Russell minus 33 ticks. I mean, the Russell, we had the high of the day was our very first trade on the Russell. We ended up with 1 tick, and that was the high of the day on the Russell first. It was downhill, back and forth, downhill, below 0 the rest of the morning session. Okay, that was it right there. Plus 1 tick on the very first trade. Then went to minus 14. Then went to minus 29. Then we went to minus I got one tick somewhere in here. We went to minus 28, but then went from minus 28 to minus 43. So somewhere in here, I had a one tick trade. It's minus 43 right there. Then that was not a really good trade because it wasn't on the mid band. That's why it's the off blue right there. But we went from minus 43 to minus 30. So that was, one of our biggest trades, but then we gave it right back. We made 13 ticks there, gave it back right there. We ended up at minus 45 after that stop out. Then we picked up 11 ticks there, it looks like. From minus 45 down to minus 34. So that was 11 ticks there. And then we picked up a one tick here to get us to minus 33. And that's where we ended it. So the Russell kind of had my number all morning. It's not to say that there weren't some good trades in there, but I didn't get any of them. There's almost a trade developing here right now, but it's not quite there. And that was the Russell this morning. Our high of the day on the Russell was one tick. Now, the YM we did pretty well on. I thought we did, but then we ended up giving some of it back. Let's go back to the beginning on this. Now, if anybody has any questions, just type them in at any point. All right. Here we are. Here we are. Okay. So, on this one right here, this is the YM. On the YM, we had one tick on the very first trade. Then 3 ticks there got us to 4. Then 10 ticks got us to 14. Then we went from 14 to 15, then 15 to 29, then 29 to something, and then we stopped out. So I didn't get whatever we had. It looks like a small gain right there. But we stopped out. So from 29, I didn't add whatever we got on there. Oh, 29 to 30, we got one tick. 29 to 30, and then we stopped out. That brought us down to 15. Then we had one more plus 3 right there. Got us to 18 on the morning session for the YM. So the high of the day on the YM was 30 this morning, 30. Right, and so this here was a nice trade just a few minutes ago. I did not get, but nice trade there on the YM nonetheless. Let me check out here and see who's in here today because Gordon. Okay. Kurt. I can put you on the list too. You in here right now? For some reason your name just popped in my head. You're not in here right now. Gordon, you're on the list too. Okay, that's a big list now. All right, so the next one we're going to do is the ES. Now on the ES today, we had a high of 42, but we ended with 32. So let's just look at what we did there. Control back. Yeah, there. Wow. Okay, so our first trade on this was right here, and this is where we actually got the goal for the day. Now I have it is a teal, not a blue, because the entry was actually below the midpoint. We picked up 8 ticks on that one. That's where we got the goal. And the next one over here, we picked up 4 more to get us to 12. And then we had a nice trade right there. We went from 12 to 28 right there. So we had a 16 tick trade there. I think I recorded that one this morning. I did do a recording this morning of going through the basics. So anybody who's in here who has not seen that recording yet, it is in the Telegram channel TIQ videos. Okay, I'll show you that. So those of you guys that are newer or on the trial, it's right here inside the TIQ videos channel. Okay, I'll give you the link to that channel right now. Invite links, copy link, done. Cancel. Okay, I'll give you all the link to get into that channel. If somebody types, I'll give you the link. I can paste it out here on this side, but somebody's got to type something into the question box for me to post it there. All right. So the trades as they went this morning, we went from on the ES 8 to 12 to 28. Then this one was got us to 32. From 32 to 40, then 40 to 42, and then we stopped out, and that put us down to 32. Okay. And that was it. We had a break-even trade here right at the very end. And that brings us current. We don't have anything happening on the ES. Okay. All right. Anybody that's listening, if you type anything into the box, I can give you the link to get into that channel. Otherwise, you don't get the link. Control back on the NQ, and we'll go back to the beginning. Almost there. There we go. All right. So on the NQ, our first trade, we picked up 4 ticks, and the next one, that was 6, and then the one after that, picked up 10, went to 20. After that, 10 more to get us to 30. Then went from 30 to 40 to 50 to 60, 30 to 40 to 50 to 60, and then we stopped out. Now, when I stopped out here, we were on a 39 range, so it was 35 tick stop that we got. And that brought us down to 25. And that's correct. It brought us down to 25. Then I talked about trading in there for a few minutes. It's part of the video that I made. And then we went from 25 to 29. And I don't have this stop out in here, but it went from 25 to 29, then 29 to 55, then 55 to 59. Okay, I do have a stop out in here. I don't know if that's the one. Yeah, that is it. Okay. So there are a bunch of trades in here that I didn't mark. I went from 29 to 55, then 55 to 59, then 59 to 63. This is 59 to 63 right here. And then we stopped out, went down to 38, and from 38 to 45, then 45 to 49, and 49 to, that's 48 to 45, 49, and 45 to 49. And 49 to 55 was our last trade of the session. And I don't know where that was, but that's how we ended it with the NQ this morning, with 55 ticks. If we go all the way to the end here, that is just about a trade there. Okay, not quite, but just about. The reason I say not quite is because it wasn't exactly on the mid-band. It was one tick off the mid-band right there. But that was it. All right. That is what we did this morning. So if you've not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. There's no credit card required for the trial. Click on that purple button, and it will bring you to this registration page. Just fill it out. All right. Okay. So now it is 1:14, so we can go here and put 16 minutes on this. 16 minutes of trading we have right now. And do we have any trades right at the moment? Nope, we do not. Does anybody have any questions about any of the stuff that we're doing here right now? Right, it's the same thing over and over and over again every single day. Okay, let's just checking this to see where we stood with everything. We want to see a close above yesterday's high. Okay, above today's high would be good. So far above today's high would be good. I want to see it get up above this level here, 730. I have no idea what's going to happen the rest of the day. It could just go sideways. We do have some high impact stuff coming out tomorrow, I'm pretty sure. Non-farm payrolls is coming out tomorrow. Here it is. Non-farm payrolls, pre-market, average hourly earnings, unemployment rate, all this stuff that is normally on the first Friday of the month is coming out tomorrow. And those are the big ones for tomorrow morning, but that's all going to be pre-market tomorrow. Okay. So there should be some volatility built in around all that in the morning session. Well, just waiting for trades. We don't have anything yet. This needs to have an up close to get it into the overbought, but that's not going to be far enough. Okay. None of these are anywhere near a trade right now. They're too far away from the mid bands and whatnot. So it could be like yesterday. The first few minutes of yesterday's session were pretty quiet, but then the last 5 minutes were full of trades. So this could happen again today. Either way, we'll take what's in front of us here. All right, so right now, because we just came out of the overbought on the NQ, it's going to start everything over again. Now it's going to go down. You're going to have a down close, 2 up closes, and then a down close, being close to a trade. The Russell didn't pull back deep enough, nowhere near deep enough. The ES didn't pull back deep enough. The YM didn't pull back deep enough. Still nothing out there on the NQ. Nothing there on the NQ. Okay, it didn't make the full cycle on the way down here. So we don't have anything there. All right. And that's get all the way down into the oversold. Not quite there yet. We're a ways away from a trade here on the NQ. Everything is a ways away from a trade because it's so far away from the midband. The NQ is the only one that's close to the midband, but because of the way it's come together, now we need 2 up closes followed by a down close. You follow that? See where it came out right there, just reset the midband. So when it comes out of the oversold with the red, it resets the midband. And it reset it again. We almost have a trade now. An up close followed by a down close on the NQ. Up close followed by a down close. This always on top. We need the up close first. There it is. Now we need the down close. This is a 19 range, so it's 5 points from the top. 325 right there. Well, there it is. Triggered me in at 350, and it's going to go to break even plus 4 ticks. No, break even plus 10. I still had it set up for the, I went to break even plus 10. I had it set up for the 39 range bracket, I guess. Let me just go check that. I do have it set up for the 39 range bracket, so it went to break even plus 10. Okay, well, there's 10 ticks right there on that one. This was not a trade over here. This is not a trade here, and this is not a trade here. Let's go put those 10 ticks in on the AQ. 10 there, and 1 there, and 0 there. Okay. That is our first valid trade. It was right there on the AQ. The sky is falling. You just have to be in the right place to catch it. I'm pretty close to trades here. and here right now. The Russell's the only thing that's a ways off. Okay, the NQ an up close followed by a down close, the ES an up close followed by a down close, the YM just a down close. Okay, the ES has got the up close, now it needs a down close, the YM just needs a down close, and the NQ's actually got the trade already. So we have 3 of them going on right here, potential trades. Here's the NQ. The NQ's already got the trade, and again, it's got the bracket set up for the for the 39 range. So I should probably just go to break even on this. Okay, it just went to plus 10. I'm gonna lock in more than plus 10. That was 21 ticks right there. Okay, we're also in the ES and we're in the YM. Okay, here's the ES. I'm gonna lock in 4 on the ES. And the YM, I'm going to lock in 17 on the YM. Okay. All right, let me write that down before I forget. 17 on the YM, 4 on the S, and 27 on the NQ. Nothing on the rest of them. 17 on the... Was it 17 on the YM? 13 on the... I'll go and check. And 4 on the ES. 4 now. Let me go check that and see what I actually did get. All right, the YM. Okay, 17 on the YM. It was 17 on the YM. Okay, I can show that to you in a second. And the ES was 4. And the NQ was... It was 6. It's actually 21 ticks. So this is okay. All right. Let me show you that. Here's the YM. There, 17 ticks. Okay, and the NQ. Right there. 13 down to 775. So 13 down to 8 would be 5. Plus 1 more is 21 ticks. I thought I had 27. And the ES was 4 ticks. All right. So that was a pretty good sequence of trades there. And that was all the way back here, wasn't it, when I did that? I don't know. I didn't know what that was. But it didn't do anything on the Russell. It was on the YM. It was right here on the YM. Right here on the ES and right here on the NQ. Okay, so the NQ's flipped everything up, but it doesn't have a trade right here. This is not a trade on the S. This is not a trade on the YM. And this is not a trade on the Russell right now. Okay. Everybody with me so far? Okay. Now, I need to start knocking out some of these meetings. I have a long list of people here, so if you are in here and you're on my list, Kyle, you're on the list, but you had to do something else, right? You, James, both on the list, but you have to do something else. You're waiting for StoneX, I think. Gordon, you're on the list. Kurt and Fred. Okay. I'm trying to knock these out before I get all jammed up at the end of the week. Okay. All right, Kyle. Excuse me. So we're waiting here now. We have about 3.5 minutes left. I think we're going to get some more short trades here. They all came together at the last one. And 3 of them going at once. So Russell's the only thing we haven't done yet in this session. I'm pretty sure it hasn't given us any reason to trade since here. Nope. And Russell's just been off. Maybe we need to go to a different time frame on the Russell. Let's try to go on 19 range. Is it any better? Nope. To 7 range. You put it there. It's just not giving us opportunity today. Minimize the space that one takes up, since it's not really giving us anything to work with. Yes, he is. He's a great guy. Been working with him for 18 years.
Since 2008.
Yep. It's a long time. It's most of his career.
Yeah.
Actually, Bert's my age, so he did other stuff before then. But do you remember what was that? What was that other broker? They went belly up.
He's also a Marine.
Army, I think.
No, Marine. Definitely Marine.
Yeah.
Semper Fi.
All right, we need to hit the midband and have a down close over here on the edge. We're pretty close to a trade. Pretty close to a trade. We just need the down close. And there it is. There it is, and there it is. And we still have the wrong bracket on here. 25 tick stop. Stop should be 5 points from there. 375 should be at 875. Is that 25 ticks? No, that's 20 ticks. That's 25 ticks. Okay, well, either way, hopefully it's going to go to break even. All right, well, it was 25 ticks stop up. Right there. Hang on, let me put it over here. Minus 25, that puts this down to 6. It's up to 5, and then to 1. And let's go back in here. Let me set my DOM up. It was pretty much a stop out to the tick. If I'd left it at the wrong bracket, we would have just made money on that. But let me just fix it, make it the right bracket, so I don't have that mistake again. It's a 19 range. This one right here. There. Okay, so we've got another one over there. I have the bracket set up properly. And we're almost there at another one right now. Just need the down close. Oh, we got the down close. All right, here it is. The bracket is set up properly this time. With the +4 instead of +10. And we're out with +4 on that one. Okay, so 4 more there. Gets us to 10, makes this a 6. What time's it? Oh, 12:30. We just ran out of time. I didn't realize that. Well, the yes is just about to give us a trade. The yes is the other one that's about to give us a trade. This didn't paint the last bar. I think the Russell's about to give us its first trade too. Let me just do this and this. Yeah, Russell is too. And the NQ gave another one too. Dwayne's. I don't want to jump in Dwayne's time.
No. I'm done with everything. So take your time.
Okay.
I know you got things to do.
Yeah, I did a whole bunch of. Okay, so I got 4 over here on this. I got 4 here on this, and the Russell hasn't triggered yet. So I got 2 more trades, each with 4 ticks. Got 4 more there. That puts that at 14. 1 more here. That puts that at 8, and 2 more there. Puts that at 8. All right, so this is how we're going to wrap up the afternoon session today. Kind of like yesterday. $2,550 today. We made 14 ticks on the NQ. We made 17 ticks on the YM. We made nothing on the Russell. We didn't trade the Russell. We made 8 ticks on the ES. Now with 1 contract, that's $255, which is more than twice the goal for the day. With 10 contracts, it's $2,550. We traded 8 times with 1 stop out, so we had 87% of, just like yesterday. Look, 87% of our trades today were break even or better, and we took a total of 16 minutes getting it done today. So these afternoon sessions, we're now at our 43rd one of them since I started keeping track, and we're up $63,000 even, or $6,300 with 1 contract, averaging $146 per contract in the just about 15 minutes that we have to trade in this session every day. So if you don't get to go in the morning session, you should really try to make this session, because the opportunities are here in this session too. If you have not, I was just looking to see if the Russell actually did give a trade. It did, and probably would have been a break even or a +1 if I had gotten it. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. There's no credit card required for the trial. Click on that purple button, and that will bring you to the registration page. Just fill this page out. Okay, once you fill this page out, you'll be sent everything you need to get going with us in the morning, to get your indicators indicating on your desktop, to get into the trial with us in the morning. All right, and that is it. With that, we can pass it back up to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona. Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne is ready. Sorry, I had more a couple minutes.
No, I know where. Okay, recap of the morning session.
Today it took 2 minutes and 1 trade to get to $1,000 per contract.
Good job.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys, we covered every market in granular fashion. If you missed any part of today's broadcast, as soon as I sign off, go to youtube.com/CFRN, and you can watch today's broadcast in its entirety. To become a member, email Valerie support@cfrn.net. Let her know you want to become a member. She'll send you all the information you need to get signed up. Once you become a passport holder, you get 2 hours of live training every trading day. It's an interactive environment. Live trades, real time, while you ask questions and trade along in your demo account to qualify to go live. Now, on top of the 2 hours of live group training every trading day, you also have access to private one-on-one mentoring, no extra charge. Got to ask. The strategy you learn, the indicators you use as a passport holder are fluid across all markets and all time frames. Stocks, futures, crypto, Forex, ETFs, doesn't matter. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. From support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. It's just how markets work. As a passport holder, you get the Logic 247 alerts. You get the concierge trade alerts, typically 5 minutes ahead of the Globex Open. Every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, you get the weekly trading zones. And you're able to attend the members only workshop every Thursday night. Plus, you get the golden keys that open all the private channels in Telegram. Everything a trader needs, all under one roof, one low price. Just email Valerie, support@cfrn.net, and let her know you're interested in becoming a passport holder. Let's wrap it up with our good word for today. Blessings and cursings, the choice is yours. Joshua 8:30. Joshua built an altar to the Lord in Mount Ebal. Bible says Joshua built this altar to the Lord, an altar of whole stones over which no man has wielded an iron tool. And they offered on it burnt offerings to the Lord. Half of them were in front of Mount Gerizim, and half of them in front of Mount Ebal. He read all the words of the law, the blessings, and Joshua 8:30 through 34. There are two important lessons in this otherwise obscure Old Testament story. First, an altar of whole stones over which no man has wielded an iron tool speaks of God's unearned and unmerited grace towards us. No human effort involved. For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast. That's Ephesians 2, verses 8 and 9. Second, notice where this altar was built. When Israel listened to Joshua reading the blessings and cursings recorded in the law of Moses, half of them were in front of Mount Gerizim, and the other half in front of Mount Ebal. Those in front of Mount Gerizim heard him read the blessings. Those in front of Mount Ebal heard him read the cursings. But the altar was not built on Gerizim, the Mount of Blessings, but on Ebal, the hill of cursing. The message is clear. Even when you blow it, God extends His grace to you. C.S. Lewis said, obedience is the key that opens every door. So even when you fail and disobey God, you can return to the altar of grace at Mount Ebal. It's built for people like me and like you. And that's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.